Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I'm going to be talking about why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need a veteran backup quarterback and what some of their options may be going forward. This video is sponsored by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, by the way. More on them in a little bit. So, why am I bringing this topic up in the first place, right? Well, number one, I feel like it's always important to have a serviceable backup quarterback. We've seen teams in not just this most recent season, but past seasons as well, where if they don't have a good backup quarterback situation, it can be a scenario where that can absolutely tank a season, right? So having a good backup is very important, in my opinion. One other thing that kind of brings that to mind is, and I'm gonna knock on wood on this, right? I am, but having Baker Mayfield have so many small or even potentially nagging injuries this past season was concerning to me. There were multiple times I was watching the game and Mayfield's down and he's grabbing at something and he looks to be in pain, and you sit there and you worry about it, right? It makes you think like, "Oh gosh, he's going to the blue medical tent again. What's going to happen?" Right? Is this going to be, the injury that knocks Mayfield out for a couple of games, maybe for the season, and it just makes you worry about what that plan B is, what that backup plan is, right? So I've listed a couple of guys that I think could be options in this offseason for the Buccaneers in terms of veteran backup quarterbacks, okay? The first name I want to talk about is Jacoby Brissett, the current quarterback of the New England Patriots. His contract is up this upcoming offseason. It's a brand new coaching staff in New England. Gerard Mayo is out. Mike Vrabel is in. Drake May's the starting quarterback over there in New England now. And Jacoby Brissett actually worked with current Buccaneers offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard with the Miami Dolphins. So Brissett has started some games throughout his career. He's basically been a backup, journeyman quarterback throughout his time. He's 32 years old. He's a Florida guy, by the way. He went to college at Florida, is from West Palm Beach. He's a Florida man through and through, so I love that about Jacoby. And he's always just been a solid, capable hand, right? 11,000 passing yards in his career, 53 passing touchdowns, 24 interceptions. Jacoby, he started and played in 15 games for the Colts in 2017 and in 2019. He's played in 87 games, started 53. He does have a quarterback record of 19 wins and 34 losses, but you know what? You don't need him to be your starter. You need him to be your backup. So I think Brissett is an interesting guy, right? Is a guy that you can look at and say, hey, maybe this guy could be a legitimate option. He just earned $8 million in his contract with New England. I think he will earn less this upcoming off season, and may be a type of guy that the Buccaneers could potentially take a look at. He does have some familiarity, possibly, with some ties to maybe New England or something, if Jason Light does have any contacts back in New England. But the bigger connection was that 1 year he spent in Miami in 2021. He started 5 games that year as well, by the way. Josh Grizzard was a part of that Miami staff. He's the current Bucs OC. There could be some connections there. Real quick before I continue, by the way, though, I do want to say shout out to the sponsor of this video, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. If you guys use the promo code YouTube150, you get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. All of that is up to $2,000. Thank you so much to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for being the proud sponsor of this channel. Back to some veteran free agent options, guys. I want to talk about Taylor Heinicke of the Los Angeles Chargers. Taylor Heinicke is another guy who has started a good amount of games throughout his NFL career. If you guys remember, he was actually the starting quarterback who played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs of that 2020 season when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. Heinicke has played in 42 games, started 29, a 13-15-1 quarterback record, 6,000 over 6,500 passing yards, 39 passing touchdowns to 28 interceptions. He is about to be 32 years old this upcoming season as well. He's another guy that I don't think would necessarily cost a ton, but is still a guy who can be a serviceable backup. He's given you starting reps in this league before, right? He is on a 2-year, or I guess he's now going to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason, but he was on a 2-year, $14 million deal that he had signed with the Falcons in 2023. He then got traded to the Chargers for 2024. He was Justin Herbert's backup, so I think he's going to make a little bit less money than that, but I do think he is another guy that can be a capable backup. Another guy that I want to look at is Teddy Bridgewater. He just made his return to the NFL. And I know whenever you're talking about injury concerns and whatnot, Teddy Bridgewater may be one of the last guys you want to talk about because he is also a guy that has had his fair share of injuries, but he is 32 years old. He's another Florida guy, by the way. He went to high school, in Miami, was born in Miami. He's another Florida guy. So again, I love that about Teddy B. He's played for a lot of teams. He's played for Minnesota, the Saints. He's played for the Panthers, the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Detroit Lions. He's also got some overlap with Josh Grizzard as well. He spent time with Grizzard in Miami in 2022. He has played in 79 games, started 65, a 33-32 record as a quarterback in the NFL, 75 passing touchdowns to 47 interceptions. Again, it's another guy who's been around the league, has started some games, has been a capable starter and a serviceable backup in years past as well. And has just been a part of a great system with the Detroit Lions the past 2 seasons as well. He may be looking for another opportunity to be a backup somewhere, and especially with the Lions having Hendon Hooker as their backup quarterback. Bridgewater may be looking to go somewhere else. The Bucs have a need a backup quarterback, and Bridgewater could fit that mold. Second to last guy I want to mention here is an in-house option. You do have Kyle Trask. Now, he worked with Josh Grizzard last season. He's very familiar with the Buccaneers organization. You could bring Kyle Trask back. He's only thrown 11 passes in his NFL career, however. 11, guys. That's not great. And whenever you look at the other options that are available, they all have significantly more experience than Kyle Trask. But the nod for Trask is that he has had extensive work in the Bucs organization, right? He knows Baker Mayfield. He knows this offense. He knows Josh Grizzard. He knows Jason Light. He has all those different types of connections to the organization. I did want to list him on here because it is definitely possible they can bring him back. But as I've said multiple times before, it also wouldn't surprise me if Trask does look to go to another team to try and fight for an opportunity to start elsewhere, because to be honest, Baker Mayfield is your starting quarterback. The last guy I do want to mention here is going to be Mason Rudolph of the Tennessee Titans. Mason Rudolph is 29 years old, will be 30 years old this upcoming season, has played in 29 games, started 18, a 9-8-1 quarterback record, 4,600 passing yards, 28 touchdowns to 20 interceptions. Again, is a capable hand, so to speak. That's been the main crux of all of these guys, right? Is, hey, have they had experience playing and starting at quarterback before? Now, Rudolph is a bit different because he doesn't have any connection to Josh Grizzard or really many of the coaching staff or any of the offensive coaching staff of the Buccaneers. So, you may give the nod to Brissett, Bridgewater, Trask in those types of scenarios, but Rudolph, much like Taylor Heinicke, to a lesser degree, has played, started, and won games in the NFL. He's a guy that can get you through some games if you need him to, right? And that's been the main point I've been trying to make, is they need somebody who has some type of experience, be it with this organization in the point of Kyle Trask, who probably wouldn't cost nearly as much as these other guys, right, as Brissett, Heinicke, Bridgewater, or Rudolph. Or they, or if they don't want to bring back Trask, you need a guy who is started some games, been there before, and has been able to show that they can be a competent quarterback, and lead an offense to do something, right? And that's where Brissett, Heinicke, Bridgewater, and Rudolph all kind of come into play. If I had to have my pick, and if I had to rank these guys in terms of who I would want as my backup quarterback, I'd probably have Brissett at number one. I would honestly probably have Bridgewater at number two, Heinicke at number three, probably Trask at number four, and then Rudolph at number five. Maybe. Because experience matters to me. And if I had a pick, I would pick the guys who are experienced, right? And that's not a knock on Kyle Trask. I wish Kyle Trask nothing but the best in going out there and fighting for a starting opportunity. It's just more so about what the Bucs need. And I think the Bucs do need a veteran quarterback who can be able to get them through some football games. But what do you guys think about all this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching this video. One more shout out to Bet US Sportsbook and Casino, by the way, for sponsoring this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.